A spine-tingling answer to the ultimate who would win in a fight debate, Freddy vs. Jason, hit moviegoers with buckets of blood and some truly frightening fan service. So why haven't the slasher mainstays returned for a big screen rematch? Ronnie Yu's 2003 horror action flick Freddy vs. Jason gave audiences pretty much everything they might want in a sensationalized crossover between A Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. In addition to the requisite cast of pretty young people getting chopped into pieces by one of the film's two title villains, it featured every iteration of fighting between Freddy and Jason. There was a fight in the dream world where Freddy had the upper hand, and a fight at a real-world campground where Jason did. There was a lot of growling, cutting, slashing, etc. Whichever villain was your favorite, you saw what you wanted to see. At the end, the actual victor was left a little ambiguous. It seemed for a moment that Jason was the winner, as he emerged from Crystal Lake post-conflagration, holding the severed head of Freddy Krueger. Freddy, however, still possessed of his supernatural powers, wasn't quite dead. The last shot of the movie was Freddy's severed head winking at the camera. That's a satisfying victory for both Friday heads and Elm Street fanatics. The ambiguity of the ending, not to mention the film's overwhelming financial success, had some horror fans clamoring for more. Indeed, several ideas were floated in the wake of Freddy vs. Jason that would have brought additional iconic monsters to the fight. In early drafts of the FVJ script, Freddy and Jason in an epilogue would have been dragged into hell to face Pinhead from Hellraiser. There were also Freddy vs. Jason 2 treatments floating around Hollywood that would have involved Ash from the Evil Dead movies. One of those treatments, by New Line executive Jeff Katz, eventually mutated into the limited comic series Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash in 2007. It's worth noting that 2003 was long after the closure of the slasher trends that spawned Freddy and Jason back in the late 1970s and early 1980s.
I mean, come on, get real. You're not even scary.
The ninth and ostensibly final film in the Friday the 13th series, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, came out in 1993. The seventh and ostensibly final film in the A Nightmare on Elm Street series, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, came and went in 1994. These monsters were in the past, and despite the success of teen slashers like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer in the 90s, audiences were quite ready to let the old slashers go. 2003 seemed like a strange time to resurrect Nightmare and Friday, but luckily nostalgia lingered. Even a decade later, audiences turned out in droves. Of course, now Freddy vs. Jason itself is 20 years old. Talk of a sequel in 2023 is nostalgia for nostalgia.
You are like a big super dog who can't stop eating!
Like we said, there were once real plans in place to make a Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash movie, and internal memos from New Line at the time revealed that Freddy would finally die at the end. Ash, the blustering but lovable a-hole from the Evil Dead movies, would remain alive by the end, but because he's generally a bumbling and unlucky character, would be sucked into an alternate dimension. That movie was never made, sadly, but for a moment it seemed possible, according to a 2016 article in Bloody Disgusting. However, only Jeff Katz was interested in that story. It's a pity that Katz's treatment never made it off the ground, at least in cinematic form, as the story was interesting. Jason Goes to Hell featured a cameo by the Necronomicon, the book of evil magic that features heavily in the Evil Dead movies, meaning the two movies could both technically be in the same universe. And S-Mart, where Ash works, would open near Crystal Lake in New Jersey, giving Ash an organic reason to be there. Jason, Natch, is still alive, while Freddy, being a dream demon, lives on inside Jason's head. Jason, in a rare bout of initiative, would use the Necronomicon to exorcise Freddy from his brain and manifest him back into the real world. The two would team up to fight Ash, who was, by coincidence, also searching for the Necronomicon. This film, however, would have to have been made within 5 years of Freddy vs. Jason. Too much time would have passed. Although multiple actors have played Jason, Ash has only ever been played by Bruce Campbell. And though the Nightmare on Elm Street remake featured Jackie Earle Haley in the role of everyone's favorite dream monster, Freddy is mostly remembered for Robert Englund's portrayal of the character. In a 2023 interview with Variety, Englund noted that he was too old and too thick to play Freddy anymore. Englund is 76, while Campbell is 65. Any fight they engaged in would have to be slow-moving. Campbell, meanwhile, has said he will only ever play Ash if he gets to work with Sam Raimi, the director of the Evil Dead movies. Raimi, meanwhile, has expressed half interest in another Evil Dead. It's hard to deny that seeing these characters as older and slower moving would still be fun. It wouldn't have the frenetic mayhem of a flick from the early 1990s. But old Freddy sounds like he might be terrifying, while crotchety Ash would be in keeping with the character. Creatively, there may be several ways into a sequel, including using the series' lukewarmly received remakes as jumping off points, and many creative people seem equal to the challenge. Sadly, aging actors plus legal troubles involving the original Friday the 13th writer Victor Miller means horror fans may have to face the fact that their favorite monsters may finally need to be put to rest.
Die.